want to shift focus onto something different. Diaspora remittances. Well, the Central Bank of Kenya, according to their projections this year alone, remittances are supposed to hit 3.4, that is billion dollars, compared to 2020, which was $3.09 billion. The question is, as you send money from abroad back to the country, what is this money being used for? Okay, we know relatives. Yes, buy for me a piece of land, do this, do that. Question is, can we channel this money into some form of investment that will help boost our investment ecosystem? And joining me right now is actually Anne Lawi, who is the Managing Director, Pangea Trust. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us. I mean, looking at the remittances, first of all, we are noting that it is increasing over time. I believe there's a study that has already been done. What are Kenyans sending money from abroad back home? What is that money doing?
Thank you for having me, Noah. And very glad to be here and having this discussion. Pangea Trust, we are very intentional, and that's why we created this platform. Pangea Trust is a business accelerator and an investor. We harness diaspora remittances as investment to invest in startup and SMEs across Africa. And to start us off, we got funding from CIDA, one of our development partner. One of the key activities was to analyze and understand what are the outlook of diaspora remittances across Africa, and also from the origin, where the money comes from. And some of the insights that came through were, one, there were up to 95% of remittances sent in, inflow to the country, are utilized, are domestic or other domestic consumption for paying school fees, families are sick, those are the up to 95%. There are other form of investment in terms of assets, in terms of personal assets people would want to buy, but they rely a lot on family members. So we also seek out to find out what are the motivation of sending out these remittances, and why is the holdup when it comes to investment. And the key insights that came out is, one, up to 59% of respondents who came through for the diaspora report that we have just done is that they are willing to invest, but there is a lack of information on where to invest and what to invest in. So they lack information on available opportunities for investment, especially when it comes to businesses. So you would hear from someone, but you don't have assurances that you'll get your return on investment.
So information gap.
Yes. So one is information gap. Secondly, it's trust. And trust is a big one in so many layers. First, do I trust myself to make the right decision of investment? Am I investing in the right business? Will it give me return on investment? Am I patient enough to wait until this business is revenue positive for it to give me return on my investment? Secondly, do I trust regulation and policies that are in place to protect my investment? And third, will the person that I'm investing in put money where they're saying they're going to put it in? Are they going to churn it, to inject it into the business?
Yes.
Now, and that's where we come in as Pangea. We have created an investment platform that will facilitate investments from diaspora communities and networks, channel it, and create a follow-up mechanism to ensure, one, the investment goes to the businesses that have been identified, due diligence done, KYC, know your customer, and we have legal binding term sheets with the business to ensure that they invest where they say they will invest. Also, to track the growth and to be able to ensure that these businesses can also be able to open up other channel of investment. Remember, because we are looking at doing ticket size of 20,000 USD to 150 USD, that become precede investment of startups. So the question is, are they able to attract more investment so that you can be able to build on the initial investment? And that's where we see a huge opportunity in diaspora remittances, giving businesses the first boost they require for them to grow to the next level.
But talking about startups, we're just having a chat even local investors themselves, putting money in our startup ecosystem is a little bit difficult. And we are talking about investors being risk averse.
Yes.
Is the landscape changing where that risk is being mitigated and being reduced by the policies laid and streamlining the ecosystem to make sure that people are gaining more confidence in the startup local startup ecosystem, including those who are sending remittances back to Kenya?
Right, key things. Three key things. One, remember I said that one of the key hindrances is lack of information. Mm-hmm. So there has been very successful business cases and success stories from our Kenyan ecosystem. If you look at the landscape across Africa, Kenya is ranked first or second against Nigeria or South Africa when it comes to the investment index and the amount of investment. In 2020, as much as in Africa we had huge investments rounds closed, but only less than 6% of Kenyan businesses raised more than $1 million that were African founded. Mm-hmm. It's not because there are no startups, but because of lack of profiling success cases. And that's where we are creating a global platform, first to curate stories and profiles of successful business from this ecosystem that the diaspora communities can be able to pick from. Secondly, creating a very transparent system that you can be able to see the business you're investing in, make an investment decision, and there is a legal binding term sheets that you both sign and you can be able to follow. So those has been key: lack of information, lack of good transparent process for them to make investment decision, but also lack of profiling the successful case when it comes to startup and business in Africa. But investments, as you know, even at a global level, it's known that 90% of if you invest in 10 businesses, you are expected to have return on 2 businesses. But it's the return of 2 businesses that change the landscape of investment, because if those 2 turn around for you, then you're able to recoup all the losses or able to cover everything else that you have invested. And that's the rule of investment across the globe. Now, for us, we want to, one, as Pangea Trust, to make sure that we are able to curate businesses, identify, we do call for application, we identify businesses that are investable, do investor readiness to ensure that all the gaps that we can identify in these businesses that have been addressed, and that make sure that we have the due diligence process, all the legal papers, all the processes and the management structures and financial and HR of the business are in place, and also ensure that the businesses has technical expertise they require for them to grow their business. And after we do that, during the investor readiness, that's the only time that we are able to now present these businesses for investment. And that will improve the profiles of the businesses that need to be invested in. All right.
And I'm glad you've mentioned the issue about investor readiness for these businesses. I'm looking at the balance between, I know the niche is diaspora remittances into investment, but also we see local investment is pretty low. And of course, you've touched on the issue of a high risk, people being risk averse and whatnot. I mean, is there a way to turn around other than these measures to make sure that these businesses are investable?
Yes.
Is there a overall change of attitude we need to have as local investors?
Yes. One of the key things also we are trying to experiment with this process. If you know about startup, it's all about experimenting, because it's a business, a young business that they are trying to figure out their way. There's potential, but they are also trying to figure out whether it's doable or not. One of the key things we also try to do is to work with local investment networks. And what local investment networks does is to recruit anyone who have disposable income. It doesn't matter. And also demystify investment, because growing up, when I heard of investment, I thought it's rich people who have...
Need millions.
They have millions and millions in
Yeah.
their account that they don't know where to take it to, that they need to make the investment decision. But demystifying means anyone who have disposable income, it can be 50,000, it can be 20,000, where you put it and consolidate it in a small fund. It can be within a SPV, a special purpose vehicle. You put it together, agree on investing on particular startup. You do the due diligence. If you're working, you can work in conjunction. Like for example, with us, we work a lot with local investment networks. There is Nairobi Investment Network, NAIBAN.
Yes.
It have invested in 3 startups. There is also Victoria Ventures Investors Network. We invested together with them, and they have a lot of investment networks that they are mobilizing. Yes, there's change of heart, but there's a lot of education to happen.
All right.
Demystify that it's only people who have a lot of money that need to invest. And the third one is ensuring that we are able to put out success cases to show, as much as it's an experiment, there is potential of success cases where, away from M-Pesa, of course,
yes,
away from M-Pesa, there's success cases of investment that have happened, and these businesses have been successful.
All right, definitely. Let's tell our own stories of success. Let us, change our attitude, which is very critical. But most importantly, let us take opportunities, grab those opportunities like Diaspora, Remittances, and invest into our startups to make them better. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Anne Lawi. That was quite an insightful conversation in regards to what Pangea Trust is doing, channeling investment in our ecosystem to make sure that we are thriving. With that said, we want to take a short break right here on Business Today. When you come back, I will return with BBC Money Daily, and thereafter something on the, of course, the innovator. Stay tuned.